We're here. We're going to be reacting to the Karrion Kross interview, which will probably not mean a whole great deal to people in chat, but, you know, or at least to most people. I know the community we do have, people will be coming in and out. It probably will do, and it'll make sense to people. But, yeah, I just thought, why not? It's on, you know, plus it's kind of two birds with one stone. I might be able to get a YouTube video out of this. I don't know what Ariel Helwani's thing is with copyright, but I'm thinking I'll be fine.
ArielHelwani.substack.com is the place to be. Alert your friends, alert your friends. This, in my opinion, is one of the most anticipated interviews in recent memory on this program. Why? Because this man, the author of this book right here, which is #1 on the sports biography list on Amazon right now as we speak, #1. We even have the proof.
His book's got #1. Go on, Karrion.
Is perhaps the most talked about man in pro wrestling right now. Everyone's wondering what is going on with his future in pro wrestling, his WWE future. He dropped an incredible documentary on his YouTube channel on Sunday evening. It has blown up almost 1 million views in the span of 2-3 days. There it is. Crazy. My WWE contract ends today. Check it out after this. But that was on
2 days. It's nearly got 1 million views.
This is now on ours. And so without further ado, let us say hello to the man himself, the great Karrion Kross. There he is. Or perhaps I should say Killer Kross.
You all better be clapping at home as well. Swear to God.
Thank you so much.
It's my guy.
To have you here. Wow, this is exciting. I said it. I just said, I don't know if you heard, this might be one of the most anticipated live interviews in the history of our program.
Oh, boy.
Yes. No pressure or anything.
Yeah, you're notorious for that, though.
You know, we try to give the people
what they
want. It should be very interesting, actually.
And you have done so with this book, which I want to plug once again. I was just holding it up.
And nobody knows if this is legit or not legit. Or, you know, if we're being worked, if we're not being worked.
Surreal?
Of course. I never thought I was going to be an author.
There it is. Look at that, man.
Jeez.
Holy cow.
That's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, it is. It's scary getting to that point here now for so many different reasons. Like you have, okay, I'm putting my story out there. How is this going to be received? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I have no idea.
See, I don't really read books, so that's like the only reason I haven't got it, or else I probably would have bought it.
You know? You don't ever really want to be too sure about, I don't know, how you're being perceived by people to a degree where you offend people or you hurt their feelings. You kind of want to be aware. I didn't know how that was going to be and what people should be thinking when they read that. It's not exactly a Brady Bunch style book. So
I loved it. I loved it. It's a great read. It's an easy read. It's not just, hey, this happened and this happened and this happened in my life. There's life lessons there. There's words of wisdom. There's like little detours, which I enjoyed very much. And there's several things I want to ask you about the book. What's perhaps like most interesting from an overarching standpoint is the book ends with you coming back. Like the book was done, I do believe,
the time
like 3
of the book,
or so
by
years
the way,
ago.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long for it to come out?
That's hard for me to say.
No, wrong thing. My bad.
It in the company where several people had to review it and basically
imagine I just did that.
greenlight it all.
When you say the company, do you mean WWE?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's how long it took in order to get it to publishing and then get it put on the shelves, which was a little frustrating.
I can imagine.
I would have preferred to release the second book right now, but I don't know. Maybe it'll all work out serendipitously, you know?
Well, honestly,
it's crazy the timing of his book.
I feel like it's working out. Like imagine
I think his book ends, as he just said there, it ends when he comes back to WWE in like 2020.
You know, you killed it on the YouTube, the documentary, which we'll get to in a second, but it kind of actually worked out brilliantly, and you didn't plan it to be this way.
No, crazy timing. I'll just say it. I mean, I've been really mad that it actually took this long to get the book out because I was all the way here. I was very nervous.
Yeah.
You know, like I just kind of wanted to get it out there and stop thinking about it and then it be done. I couldn't settle into how it was going to be received. I didn't know, I didn't know. So, but now that it's been received really well, I'm happy. As long as people are happy reading it, I'm happy. So.
As they should be and as you should be. I've been interviewing pro wrestlers. I was on a Montreal local radio show in 2000 before I went to Syracuse University. It was called In the Ring on CFMB 1280 AM, midnights on Fridays. I have never asked a pro wrestler the question that I'm about to ask you. And the reason why I've never done so is because I have so much respect for what you guys do and for the history of the business. People could talk about the unreals and all that stuff. I think there are certain questions that you shouldn't ask out of respect for what you do and what it's all about.
I appreciate that.
But I do feel like I need to ask you a certain amount of questions, and I need to be as sort of pointed as possible. Okay.
Sure, of course.
Are you working us right now?
No, I'm not answering questions today as a character.
This is legit.
Yeah,
this is Kevin.
Yep.
Okay. What you put out on your YouTube channel on Sunday evening, a riveting documentary that I urge everyone to see. You almost have about 800,000 views as of right now in 3 days. That's incredible. You said that your WWE contract came to an end on August 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, you have not re-signed with them. You do not have a new deal with them.
No.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yeah.
You're not working us on that front?
No.
And I feel bad asking you that. I've never used that word.
The issue with wrestling fans is, even though he's saying this, they're still not going to believe it.
The reason why I feel the need to ask it is because of the Seth Rollins thing that just happened, right? You understand why.
Of course.
And I'm sure you've seen people say this is a work. In fact, people have said your appearance on today's show is validation that it's a work. They think that because you're coming here, that means this has to be a work.
What's good,
no,
Garrett?
I mean, I was planning on doing a book tour and doing media. I've been doing a lot of media. ECW Publishing, the publisher of the book, has been helping me with that. Being able to be on your platform, all the people we reach, like there was no anticipation that this was going to happen on the way to do the book tour. So that kind of, this is just what's happening. So
how did we get here? How is this possible?
I mean, I've been saying this, that I don't think this is a work with Karrion because
you've already stated, like,
it's been a thing over many months.
I never actually received a contract, like an offer, until last week.
So he did get offered a contract.
Do you remember what day? So your contract expired August 10th, which I do believe was Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the one that Dave Meltzer was talking about, though?
Okay.
I don't know.
I got the offer. I wanted to know how they came to the valuation of that offer. Just wanted, like some information, some metrics, some analytics that's supporting to, hey, this is how we got here. When I inquired about that, they were unwilling to provide that information and told me I had 24 hours to agree to the offer or they were rescinding it. So, the next day,
that's weird.
We talk. I ask if they have the information. They don't.
So Karrion wanted to know how WWE came to the offer that they offered him, but then didn't actually have a way of how they got to that, Like, what? I don't know, this is what I'm saying with this Karrion stuff, man. Like, obviously, we're only going to ever hear Karrion's side, I feel like, but there's something about this whole situation that is just so weird and just so off. It's just, I don't know, it seems different to any other contract stuff we've seen happen before. You know what I mean? Like, even if you watch Karrion's documentary, it just seems like something's off, whether it's like from WWE themselves. And I don't know, because none of it makes any sense. How Karrion has gotten over so organically, and I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, how Karrion has got over so organically, like WWE sat there should be using them. You know what I mean? Like, should be using him and Scarlett, them getting over and whatever. And then now the fact that they're letting him walk out the door and not giving him a reason as to how they got to a contract offer, or like telling him that he shouldn't lean into the We Want Kross thing. It's like, what's happening?
And I said,
none of it makes sense.
An informed decision without the information. And I'd like to keep the dialogue open. And they rescinded the offer. And that's actually where we're at.
Wow.
So that's why he didn't accept that contract offer. I mean, valid, to be honest.
It's not meant, this isn't like...
He's not going to sign it just
a lot of people
for the sake of signing
it. An exit, right? I can empathize with everybody's experience. Every experience exiting the company is different, right? This isn't like to disparage WWE, but because there's so many convoluted stories out there going on, it actually even to some degree can affect our livelihood of what we're supposed to be doing afterwards. People don't want to reach out because they're not sure if they're tampering and stuff like that. The goal has always been to be with WWE. My wife and I still want to be like with WWE. Like, I'm still I'm at the table for conversations. I did not step out of the conversation.
Okay, that's interesting.
So
Karrion is still of the belief that he wants to stay, and he
still want to work it out.
Him and Scarlett both want to stay with the company.
A few things to obviously follow up on.
It just does seem like a WWE thing, and they're being so weird about this whole thing.
Hours, and if you don't respond or take it, we're taking it away. Have you ever heard this being done before?
I haven't, no.
Have you asked other guys, like, is this how it goes when a contract is up?
I haven't asked anybody about their particular experiences, no.
That seems a little odd, right? I mean, I've been in contract negotiations myself.
It
I've
is
never been
weird.
given
I mean, look, I've never been in contract negotiations, so I don't know if that's a normal thing.
We're
but
taking it away. Why do you think
it
that
does
was the play?
seem
Why was that the
very
tone?
weird, doesn't it?
know.
Like, oh, you've got 24 hours to either
it less
accept
than what
us
you were
or,
making?
you know, sin a bit kind of thing.
No, but
That's
I mean,
weird.
at the end of the day, like when a valuation is being suggested, there has to be something where people can go to information-wise and say, hey, this is how we came to this.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, this is what we think makes sense. I asked to see that information. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it. Let's look at it together and let's decide whether this is appropriate or not.
This is what I'm saying, man. It just doesn't make any sense.
Was it a departure?
Why is WWE, would the rep or whoever Karrion spoke to, you know, whether it's Triple H, whether it's Nick Khan, whether it is a representative of the company, whoever he spoke to during these contract negotiations, how are they not giving him a justification on how they got to what they got to? You know, it's so weird, and it's something that we haven't seen. Like, I don't know why WWE are being so weird about Karrion's contract. Like, I don't know, maybe this is why people think that it is a work, but I really don't think it is. I think WWE are just being weird about this whole thing. I don't know why. I don't know why they'd have a reason to be weird about this whole thing, but they're being weird about it.
From what you were thinking, like if we would have talked and said, like, what are you hoping for?
Like, surely you just tell him how you got to the contract that you got to, you know?
I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was thinking, let's assess everything together and see where we're at. I want to make sure that this is actually reflective, fairly, of, you know, what we have information-wise to collect and look at. That's all.
Is this, obviously we know this is your second go-around with them. Was this the first time that you were in a renewal situation? Because we know that the first time around, you know, they released you, right? And then they brought you back. But was this the first time they're like, hey, you get a chance to see how the renewal process goes? Or was there another deal in the past where you re-upped?
No, there were no other deals. I mean, like the contract, you know, contract expired. We talked a little bit before that. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
No.
How close were you to actually taking this deal within 24 hours?
Impossible.
Okay.
Because you can't.
Because the Karrion was never going to take the deal.
To them, I had said, like, there's no opportunity here to make an informed decision without looking at the information together. So you can't do that. Like your whole livelihood is based on this idea with no information to support it. I just wanted to get there. I wanted to keep the dialogue open. So, and I still do. You know, like
I'd say that's completely valid.
And
You're going to have some
you
wrestling
speaking to
fans
an
because
agent,
they
a
lack
manager, or
brain
is it
cells
direct? You did
that
that.
are going to try and say that, oh, well, they offered him
I
a
came to the
contract,
table
like, and he
to-
turned it
to
down,
talk.
like, blah, 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 you know?
And specifically, if you don't mind me asking,
I
who
think
are
it's
you
completely
speaking
valid
to
in
when
turning that
you're
down, to
going
be
through
honest.
this?
it's a rep that the
Okay.
company appointed to have a conversation with. I would have loved to have spoke to either of my bosses, but this
Would
is
that
the
be
way
Paul
they-
Levesque?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when my wife and I came back, Hunter had called us, and we did our deals over the phone together. So I was just under the assumption that we were going to do that again. We did them at the same time, and yeah, like typically I would not put somebody in front of me to talk to Hunter. I feel comfortable to talk to him, you know, in person. We've always talked that way. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I believe I read in here. I believe you said, "Are you ready to come home?" Right,
yes,
the first time.
yeah,
You did not get that, and it is worth noting. There's another human being involved in this. Your wife,
yeah.
who means the world to you.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the same boat, right? Her
Yeah.
deal was up August 10th, and she
Mhm.
has not been re-signed.
Yeah.
When they made that offer, was it for the two of you?
Nothing. She had nothing. There was no offer to her.
Nothing.
No, I was told at one
Okay.
point
I mean-
because I did inquire, of course.
Yeah.
I can kind of get that. As harsh as that sounds, and, you know, managers in WWE these days aren't as common unless it's like a Paul Heyman, you know what I mean? I can kind of get it from a WWE perspective with that aspect of being like, okay, we're interested in keeping Karrion, but Scarlett maybe not so much, because yes, they work great together, but WWE, obviously since TKO have taken over, have just any opportunity they get have been trying to cut costs. So I kind of get why they wouldn't have offered Scarlett one. I still think probably should have done, to be honest, because again, they're a package deal, you know? Plus, I think they work better together. So I think you could have done it, but I do kind of get it in that aspect of like managers aren't as common right now. So if they weren't going to offer Scarlett something, I think it is still a bit harsh, but
Yeah.
you could kind
After
of get
we deal
it.
with
You know?
we'll deal with her. Like,
Do you think that they were going to get to her? Like once they were probably hoping you'd say yes. Do you think they were going to get to her, or do you think there was a chance that she was not going to be brought back regardless?
I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't see why we just could not have done things the way we did them before, you know, where we do the deals together. So
that's how it's always been.
That is weird, especially if
it was like that the last time.
Okay.
In NXT, she was signed first, maybe at the end of 2019, and I came in 2020.
Okay.
So.
And so in the process of you not, accepting and then rescinding, does anyone reach out to you between, say, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday when you put out that video? Does anyone say, hey, let's figure this out, man? Like, okay, we're at an impasse. Do you get another call? Do you get another email, a text? Does anyone reach out to you in that period?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's crazy.
Did that surprise you?
Nobody has reached
I
out to
tried
him
not
since
to
that contract offer. I mean,
invent a
what are we
hopeful scenario in my
doing,
head,
man?
But a little bit.
That's crazy.
Like I said, I wanted to continue the dialogue. It was strange. A lot of this is strange to me.
I'm quite honestly blown away by all of this, and I'm still kind of.
Me
I don't want to
too.
disrespect
Me too.
you, but wrestling is, and I see you're very sincere, and I could even kind of tell that you're like, dare I say, a little bit hurt by all of this. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unexpected. It's unexpected. I'm not sure I had a high level of expectation, but just any time I've ever gotten on board with the company hasn't quite been like this in terms of communication. So, and I just feel like there's still so much more to talk about. I feel like there's more to explore here. So it was just strange.
Since you put out the YouTube video Sunday night, did you hear anything from anyone?
Anyone
In the company, sorry.
Friends in the company, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But higher ups, brass, people who would say,
No.
nothing.
Crazy.
Did that surprise you?
I
Did you
don't
think, okay, once
understand
this comes out and I
how
kind of
no
peel it
one
all
at
back,
WWE has even
someone's
reached
gonna reach
out.
out.
Like,
I didn't necessarily
you know what I mean?
think the timing of
baffling.
anyone wanting to talk to me would
Completely
have anything
baffling
to
to
do with
me.
that. There's nothing derogatory or disparaging in that, like that would create any sort of concern. It's more just
Bolton red
documenting.
card. Have a day off. Have a day off. What are we doing? Oh my Christ. Who was it? Can't be Santos because he's not with us anymore. So it's not updated yet. There's no way. I don't even know what our lineup is or anything, to be honest. Oh, our new goalkeeper's in already. Who's Lawrence? Lawrence is probably a youth don, I would imagine. Or was it Inwood that got sent off? No, he's got a thing next to his net, and that's crazy. Why? What are we doing? We're going to go out of the Carabao Cup in the first round. Great. Sam Inwood, yeah, I think he's a youth don as well. It's crazy. Crazy!
How SummerSlam went, and
Right.
yeah.
When someone gets released from WWE, there's usually a period, either 30, 60, 90 days. They can't talk. They can't solicit offers, things like that. Because your contract elapsed, technically, can you go work for someone today?
Yeah, of course.
You're free and clear.
Yes.
Okay, so Karrion can go
But
and work
as you
the
just
indies
alluded
and
to, which
whatever.
I thought was fascinating, I was thinking of this, because people are sort of unsure if this is legit or not, and you're saying it is, and I 100% believe you. Have you found that people are afraid to reach out to you because they don't want to get caught in an angle?
I've been told through people, they're like, hey, like, what's actually going on? They're telling me that people are concerned about making contact. But at the end of the day, like,
That's understandable,
I'm
though,
not
isn't it?
trying to
Because
turn
there's
this
so
into a
much
game.
talk around Karrion.
it's not a
I know.
game to me. It's my life.
Yeah.
Whether
I'm
it's
very
at
big on
work, whether
loyalty.
it's
Everybody
not.
knows that, but loyalty is a two-way street. And WWE has given me and my family an amazing opportunity, in the past to change our lives. I've talked about working at NXT during the pandemic, people in my family getting laid off. They have no idea how they're going to, make their mortgage. I was able to take over their mortgage. Like, I'm very interested in trying to recover what I think is something, that is easily recoverable. But like,
God, how can you
it takes
not
two
love
people to come
Karrion,
together
man?
and talk
Jesus.
about it. I'm still here. So
What a guy. What a guy.
So you've been you and your wife have been one of the hottest acts, the hottest stories, characters over the last few months, and so all this happening at the same time is obviously fascinating and somewhat unprecedented. So my question is, when did you start to get the sense that something was amiss? Like when you're hot and everyone's chanting, "We want Kross," and there's the signs and all that stuff, but yet you still don't have a new deal and August 10th is coming. When did you start to feel like, hey, this might not actually work out the way we thought it was going to work out, at least not now?
You have moments of that all the time in wrestling. So it wasn't necessarily specific to what's happened recently, but you always have moments where like, hey, the audience really likes something. You hope that you're given the green light to lean into it a little bit. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. Sometimes, when people are formatting any type of television show, there is an intention for the show to peak at certain points. You might not be in the part of the show where they really needed to peak. So there's a chance they might not lean into this thing that the audience is really
We're
enjoying.
half an hour into
because
this
there's
already,
a
by the
different
way.
destination
Crazy.
in mind. That's just the reality of at least what we do, There were times throughout this where there was creative things that I think we could have done to really nurture it, give people essentially what they're looking for out of it. I can't really necessarily place a time where I was like, but everyone was aware the crowd was really enjoying it. They knew they were
This is
into
again
it.
though what makes it
Live,
so
online.
odd. Like, it's not like you can ignore it, It's not like WWE have just gone, oh yeah, we'll just ignore this whole "We Want Kross" thing, So like they're fully aware of it and they've still let him walk out of the company. It makes zero sense. I don't get it. None of this makes any sense to me.
When to pull the trigger on really directly, bringing attention to it, syncing it with something creatively. I don't know. I don't know when they would have wanted to have done that.
I would say everything really took a huge next step post WrestleMania, right?
Sure.
The interview with Sam and Megan, and you're there backstage, and you dropped that pipe bomb, for lack of a better word. In the doc, you revealed that was all a work.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Why say that now?
So,
I know at the time people thought he might have just gone off on one and he was being unprofessional. I feel like most people understood when he did that promo that it was a work because he showed up on Raw the same day. I think he had a backstage thing. Pardon me. I think he had a backstage thing on that same day. So to me, my logic then was, okay, well, if he has just gone off script and has gone off on the company while still being contracted, there's no way they would have allowed him to just be on Raw. So I kind of knew it was a work, and then obviously it started to come out that it was a work,
I kept that protected because I was under the impression at the time from things I was being told that AJ and I might be working a little bit, and there were some options as to different things we could do. So you don't want to let everybody behind the curtain while they're still watching the movie. Imagine watching Terminator 2 for the first time in theaters, and in the middle of the movie they're like, we're going to take an intermission and tell you all about how this is CGI and this is a robot and they got the guy on the strings. I didn't want to do that. So I kept it protected like I would with anything so people can remain immersed in the programming. But then we moved away from AJ. And so some time went by and I wasn't necessarily supposed to have anything directly with Logan, but we're trying to make it all cohesive and make sense. Why, what was Kross's issue or his angle with AJ? How does Logan intertwine into that since AJ is going to fight Logan? All of that type of stuff. I was on the red carpet for WWE Hall of Fame the year Brett and Stone Cold and Hunter were inducted, all that stuff. And at least AJ and I we didn't know.
Was that? No, this wasn't 41, was it? That was
we were going to walk through a live shot. Like, we know there's interviews in media and stuff.
Wait, no, it would have been.
We kind of thought, we're under the impression
one just gone, right? I don't know. I didn't watch the Hall of Fame, to be honest. I can't remember.
To go sit down in the auditorium. Well,
Would have been
I
41,
was like,
wouldn't it?
dude,
Because
go
he wasn't
ahead of
working
me.
AJ.
Give you a 5-minute head start.
Headed into
We're
40,
going
was
up together. We don't want to cross through the shot together. So he goes up, and I don't know what happens, but Rosenberg and Jackie were interviewing people. Somehow, I see him coming. Scarlett stops. He keeps walking. I can't stop. I walk through the shot. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to ruin the immersion of everything we just did on Monday. And I was like, I can't let that happen. Like, the pro wrestler in me cannot.
Sure, of course.
So I'm listening, and I'm trying to improvisationally come up with something. And Rosenberg starts talking a little bit of trash. I was like, oh, perfect. This is my in. So I go over, and I just kind of like have a meltdown about how he's running his mouth about me. He improvisationally backpedals. He already knows what's going on, which is perfect. Now we're playing into it. We're essentially kind of washing out what people just saw of AJ and I walking through the shop.
Real, I didn't watch the Hall of Fame, so I have no idea that this even happened.
I say I'm going to break the lights.
So.
I say I'm going to throw AJ over the railing. Just kind of have like a mini meltdown. As I'm walking away, one of the
That's crazy though. They didn't even need to speak a word, and they just knew. Like
that was really, really good.
Like,
all the guys in the
bounce
truck
off each other and work together on it.
I said, thank you. I said, I was trying to cover up for you. He goes, no, I understand. He goes, do you want to do the Sam Roberts podcast tomorrow? I said, sure, I would love to. And I asked him, I go, what do you want? And he goes, give me that guy. That was pretty entertaining. I said, okay, like premise-wise, what are you looking for? And he goes, we want it to feel real. In terms of viewership and engagement with wrestling, things perform better the more real they feel. That's nothing new under the sun. The more real wrestling feels and everything, the better it performs, like theater.
Sure.
You know? So I go, okay. At one point, he was like, we just had Dana White on one of the programs that he was overseeing or something, and he was using the F word quite a bit. So at the time, I thought I had a green light. I asked, I'm allowed to say the F word? I won't say it 40 times, but I can use it impactfully. He goes, yeah, we want this to feel real. Make this feel real. I go, okay. So the next day, we go to Sam Roberts, and
it's interesting just listening to him talk, to be honest. Like,
I just said, all right.
I could genuinely sit here and listen to a podcast of Karrion Kross. I really could. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's just, I could sit here all day and listen to him talk.
Here's the story arc for Kross. This is the story that's been told. He's had one match on Raw this year. He lost. He's not on WrestleMania in his hometown. He shows up to WrestleMania. AJ doesn't cheat. In fact, AJ punches him out. What is the state of the character of Kross? Oh, and Kross lost the Battle Royal that week, the Andre the Giant Memorial. Kross is not in a good mood. He would be irate. And I've got, an improvisational moment. I wasn't on WrestleMania. Why are people watching this? They got central nervous system fatigue watching one of the greatest shows on earth, WrestleMania. People are probably burned out. They want to take a minute. I got to do something captivating, something good. Here's my moment. I wasn't on the show. But if you're going to give me a little bit of time, you're going to...
What is it with my football club, bro? I don't understand. Good God. Why are we the way we are? We just don't like cup competition. To be fair, right? I'm not that bothered by this because it's Carabao Cup, innit? Respectfully, it's not going to make a difference. Yeah, we would have got Leeds after this. Great, we'd have lost then. So my view has not changed. I'd rather focus on the league. And if there's going to be a cup that we win, it's the blooming, I don't even know what they're calling it anymore, but what used to be the Pizza Cup. So I'm not bothered about going out of the Carabao Cup, to be honest.
Let me see. People see me. It's got to be good, right? So I sit down. I said what I said. I walked out of the shot. They turned the camera off, walked back into the room. Thank you very much, everybody. Shook everybody's hands. Everybody was cool with it. They were like, holy cow. They said another word we're not going to say, but yeah, everyone was really blown away. And I let everybody know, let's make sure this is somewhat protected from the audience, but let everyone know internally that this is a work, because not every department is constantly in lockstep communication with one another. So
it's nice to know, right? If you take nothing else from this interview, at least you can know that Karrion Kross is the definition of a good soldier, He was given a ball, he took it, and he was like making sure that everybody knew that it was a work and that he didn't go completely off of the rails and was furious with WWE and all of that, I think, if anything, if you're going to take anything from this, it's that Karrion Kross is the utmost professional that a professional can be. So that's good, I guess.
Not everybody knew that was a work.
You think it backfired?
Any chance? I don't know why my audio does this. Any chance? No? Audio just decided to just perish. Then that's nice. Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. Let's do that. No? Any chance? God. Can I just have one stream where I don't have technical issues? That'd be so good. Still on all the rights that I don't... Why are you like this? I don't understand. I really don't get it. Do not understand it. Is it going to come back at some point? Or have we just decided to hell with it? It still come out of... No. What the hell? I swear. Right, what I'm gonna do is do that. Unplug it. Plug it back in. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh.
Specifically, like
Higher ups. I'll say higher ups.
They were offended, or did they feel like you were too aggressive? Like, what could they have been upset? How would a wrestling lifer see that and be like, yeah, that's too far, or you crossed the line, or is this real or not?
I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but this is what I will say about it. So a lot of everything that you see goes through the creative process. It goes through a team. I was under the impression that we were doing something improvisationally and it was okay. But like I said, sometimes the communication is not in lockstep with each other. So no one told them that this was a work. No one said, I shook everybody's hands. I gave Megan a hug before I left. So they're under the impression, like a week
crazy,
goes by,
actually, that a company as big as WWE, I suppose it makes sense because it is a big company, but
one day I waited for Hunter outside
the way
the
that the communication isn't always like on point is
that
wild.
He was not okay with it, and I explained everything to him. No one told him anything. So as far as I know, at that point we were good, but everyone was under the impression, a lot of people, like I just lost my mind. I was just trying to do my job. My job. It was to make people believe like any other day. And yeah.
Do you think it's possible that they thought that you were going into business for yourself, or maybe trying to take away from WrestleMania because you weren't a part of the show? Here you are trying to take the spotlight. Do you think that's possible?
It's possible that they felt that way, but at the end of the day, it actually drove engagement.
Oh, hell yeah.
It generated them money.
It's true. It went like mega viral.
That promo was not done on my phone or on Twitter. It was done on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We were intending...
It was the post show, right?
Yeah, I'll say it. I was intending for them to be able to make money off of that, to have something that we can use. We're never pigeonholed with this character that I was playing on TV. There's a million different ways you can take it. I'm always thinking, how can I arm my creative team and everyone I'm working with a million different things to do with Kross so you don't disappear off TV? Here's a great one. And yeah, it was good for business. So anyone of the opinion that I went into business for myself that day, they're really not thinking it through. It generated quite a bit of money, so and interest, and then also people were like, "Hey, can we have more of that?"
Yeah.
The people liked it.
Do you think if you don't do that, if that never happens, you don't
Captivated a
show
lot
up
of
on the
people.
post show, you don't say a word, you're still in WWE today?
I don't know.
Is that a possibility in your mind? Have you thought of that? Hey, if this great thing actually didn't happen, things would have worked out
I
differently?
don't think doing that or not doing that has any sort of bearing or result on the phone call conversation that I had. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't want to think that it does. Because again, it was
surely
very good
that's
for
not the
business.
reason that WWE have been weird
It
about
was
this
good for
whole
business.
thing, right?
If business is about generating money and engagement and fan interest, then it was good for business. It was
Because I mean,
good.
if
It
that
was a good
is the
thing.
case, then
You
WWE
said
are a really
in the
like way
documentary on
more
your
petty
YouTube channel
company
that
than
at
any of
some
us
point you
ever
had a
could have imagined.
conversation with someone about your future,
Mhm.
and you were left feeling very upset afterwards because to you this is your life, this is everything. You're a wrestling lifer, and maybe they're not, and they don't really understand
Mhm.
how to speak to someone in your shoes.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of
Am I summing that up correctly?
Fairly, sure.
Could you tell me like what you meant by that? And that's not the phone call that you're referring to from last week, right?
No.
That's someone reaching out to you or talking to you face to face and saying, "Hey, we need to talk about your contract coming up."
Yes, it was an explorative phone call, and I was happy.
Oh, it was a phone call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was happy to finally get it.
And how long ago was that?
It was either a week or 2 weeks before that. There was quite a bit of time between those phone calls, but I was just disappointed because I had expressed interest to remain with the company in January.
In what context? Where are you?
I said, "Hey, I spoke with a higher up,
Okay.
and I said I'm interested in remaining on board. What is it that you need to see out of me in order to make that happen?" They gave me some directives. I expressed where I'd like to land in all things, and then I was told at one point the reps would get in touch with me. So all that time, I was waiting for that phone call the whole time. And then to get that particular phone call that I got, and there was still so much uncertainty after the phone call, I was like, man, like, what's going on here?
I think that's normal. I don't think that's too weird. I think WWE, don't forget they've got a lot of people on the like payroll, right? So that's not even like, I'm talking just talent. I'm not even talking about like, I don't know, lighting engineers and creative people and, or like the office job people that work at WWE HQ and all that stuff, right? I don't think that's too unusual that Karrion didn't get a phone call like pretty much straight away. I think him waiting, I think that's quite normal. I don't think that's weird, to be honest. I could be wrong though.
Was it dismissive, the call? What upset you about it?
Because it was just, I wanted to lock in. I was interested in locking in remaining with the company because I had expressed that I wanted to stay. So that was what was disappointing about it.
I mean, that's valid.
Just not the phone call I was hoping it was going to be in that regard.
What's interesting is you keep saying how much you wanted to stay, and I believe you, and you said that multiple times in the YouTube doc, and you also said the notion that you didn't want to stay is so ludicrous to you, right? Because this has been your dream. You want to be Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, etc.
Of course.
Do you think there are people in the company who actually believed you were disgruntled and didn't want to stay?
No.
That you want? You don't?
No. There were numerous articles that went out online in all directions. Some were saying I had resigned. Some were saying that I quit WWE. Like, there was just different things, 12 different stories online about what was going on.
It's true. I saw a lot of different headlines. I don't think I ever saw someone say that he quit WWE.
I'm looking at this, I'm reading all this, and I'm just like, I don't know where all that comes from. I don't know how that gets drummed up. Maybe it's just people putting stuff out there to see on, who will click it, but it was odd. Like, it's a crazy notion to me that I would just willingly walk away. No way. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do since I was a little kid, specifically working for WWE. I was a kid in the crowd once upon a time in New York. So I've had my mind made up about being a part of the company and being a part of the greatest show on earth since I was a little kid. So
a lot was made of the fact that the fans at the SummerSlam post show were chanting "We Want Kross" when Paul Levesque was up there, Triple H, and he responded, "Yeah, you want Brock, you got him."
Still can't believe that.
Do you think he just misheard, or do you think that was on purpose?
I don't know. I don't want to frame that situation. But when I did see it, I laughed because he could have misheard it, and then he has like a very dry sense of humor, and I thought there was a chance maybe he could have just been joking around. I'm the same way. I have a very dry sense of humor, and I'm very sarcastic. So is everybody in my family. It's like a East Coast New England.
Oh my God,
thing.
that's literally.
But I saw it and I looked at it and I just laughed. And
I mean,
on the back.
I don't know if I have interpreted it as Triple H just being a bit dry in his sense of humor with that, being like, oh, well, you want Brock, you've got it, because it's the whole thing with Brock, isn't it? Obviously, I'm not going to get into that. That's a different thing. But I do think there's a chance he misheard it. I'm hoping that's what that is, and that he didn't do it on purpose because he knew it would annoy people or something. But
into that, I was really...
You never know unless you're Triple H.
I was very flattered that after the show, it's a show that I'm not even on, everyone is chanting that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And then the night before the show's over, they were doing it on both nights. And I thought that was really, really cool, man. And I've had conversations with people that have been in the business for over 30 years. And they've said really, really, really solid wrestlers, like Dynamite Kid level solid people, have gone their whole careers and never gotten an ovation like that. Never mind once. They've never had things like this happen. It really put things in perspective for me. Like, yeah, he's right. Like, there's incredible people that have been in this business that aren't received like that from the crowd, and stuff like that I will never forget for the rest of my life, man. Like, it's awesome. I'll never forget that.
It's incredible. You can't buy that. I mean, it's priceless stuff. It's stuff that I would say you guys dream of, right, as performers. And the pops that you were getting on Main Event or anytime you showed up was incredible. And I was wondering, so you're on back-to-back PLEs, Night of Champions and SummerSlam. You don't get the W, but you're still being featured, right? So are you taking that in the midst of all of this as a sign like, hey, they're putting me on these shows. I'm having singles matches. I'm not just thrown into like a six-man or a battle royal. Like, surely this is a sign that they're behind me and this will get sorted out. Did you view that as a sign, or is that...
That's a good point, actually. I honestly hadn't given that much thought, to be honest, but that's actually a really good point. Like, you would think as a wrestler that now, after being not featured on Raw Weekly to then being featured on Raw Weekly and being put on PLEs and having singles matches, having a feud, you'd probably be feeling pretty good that you're going to get that call, being like, okay, so we actually do want to renegotiate your contract now. But again, this is why it's so weird. We start using him on TV, and then after SummerSlam, he's now just gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't get it.
I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was really more or less trying to think about the task at hand. I've always been like that. I'm never really like, if this happens, this is what it means, because that's not what you can't equate things like that in wrestling. You could be on top of the world for an extended period of time, and then there could be a decision that's made or something happens where you just fall right off. Working at NXT, being NXT champion, no one would have ever thought that I would have went to Monday Night Raw, get a weird helmet, suspenders, and then be gone. Like, people...
It's like the same situation with Hit Row. They got fired instead of not getting the contract. I think that's different, though, because no disrespect to Hit Row, but they weren't getting Karrion Kross reactions. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's harsh as well, because it's one of them, like, again, with this whole Karrion thing, I mean, I've spoken about it before, but this whole Karrion thing, it's like Ashanti, the Adonis, got released at the same time that Karrion and Scarlett did, or at least his contract expired. I don't know which it was, but nobody's like clamoring for him to come back. You know what I mean? It's like, it is all subjective. You know what I mean? And to be honest, it's got to feel pretty peak if you're not one of the people that the fans want to see back. But I think with someone like Hit Row, like, that was just a thing that just was not resonating with people. Because if I'm honest, me sat here now, I could not tell you one single thing that Hit Row did. You know, besides Top Dollar, like, trying to do that dive to the outside and, like, finding out that he had, like, was it, like, an issue with his knees or something? Like, you know. Other than that, I genuinely could not tell you anything Hit Row did. So I think it's slightly different in that aspect of, like, Karrion had the fans and had the reactions, you know. All he needed was the creative. He finally starts to get that creative, starts to build something, and then he's just now gone. Like, he didn't even get a contract. You know what I mean? So I think it's different in that aspect. But
even then, people privately asked me if that was a work back then. I think because of the Rollins stuff and Ron's situation, Truth, people don't know now, right? They're calling it new kayfabe. Brian Pillman invented new kayfabe. It's nothing new. That's just my opinion. I'm a huge Brian Pillman mark. What can I say? But yeah, I didn't equate any of that.
Okay. Speaking of Ron Killings, you also mentioned that you had a conversation, I think, on the way home from Saudi.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about that?
I really only kind of want to say what I said in the documentary, which was essentially Ron had pulled me aside and talked to me, and he basically he knows what's going on with me. He's been in my corner. He's always been in my corner. I've always been in his. Ron's somebody I've always gotten along with. We have mutual friends. Shout out to Conan. Yeah, I love that dude. I had a Night of Champions was a little rough because one of my relatives, my Uncle Chris, had passed away a little bit before Night of Champions. And the process of developing a service for him was taking a little bit. So right around the time that my family had announced,
didn't know that. Nothing came out about that, and obviously that's his private life, so of course it shouldn't have come out unless he wanted it to. Yeah, I mean, obviously, rest in peace. That is just honestly the biggest thing. Not to get all deep, but that's the biggest thing of like, you truly never know what someone's going through. So like, he's on top of the world in the sense of like, he's being featured on PLEs now. He's getting all this good creative. But then behind the scenes, like, there's a whole different situation going on, you know?
Paul to ask me to go to Night of Champions. So I told the person over the phone, let me call you back. Let me see how, like, my family feels about this, because I don't want to agree to anything over the phone. I'm thinking I'm going to the service. So that Night of Champions match didn't happen. I spoke to some of my relatives, and they said, your Uncle Chris would want you to go do this match. You can grieve anytime you want. This is something that's coming around right now, and it's important that you go. So I had their support. I spoke to quite a few of them, and that was kind of the consensus.
Do you know what? So I've just thought about as well. Not that this is like, not that this would like have made it any easier, but if you remember that Night of Champions match, after it, there was a lot of Karrion fans. I didn't, because I was just happy that Karrion was on the show, right? Obviously, Karrion lost that match. The response after that from a lot of Karrion's fans was that, oh, Karrion should have won that, and, you know, they wanted Karrion to win. I'd imagine that that was nice for him, especially at that time, you know what I mean? I'd imagine that was a bit of like a, you know, maybe it softened, I doubt it softened it, but you know what I mean? Like, it was probably a nice feeling at a time where he was pretty low, you know what I mean?
And it's just, you're in the moment and you're enjoying it. No regrets about it. But then there's also that, and you're in this weird seesaw all day and the whole trip. Like, almost feels sometimes like guilty that you're having a good time.
Yeah.
With this on your mind. And I just kept thinking about him all day and talking to him under my breath. I talked to Ron a little bit about that on the plane, and that's kind of how the conversation began.
Well, that's crazy. Okay. Fair play to him for still going and still doing it.
And you did talk about that. It
not only that,
now makes a lot more sense.
It's not as if he was just going to like another state in America or anything, right? He's going to Saudi Arabia. That's not that's not a short flight, you know? That's like, I don't even know. Is it like a 12 hours? Something like that, you know what I mean? I mean, it's, not 12 hours, is it? I don't know. Basically, it's a long flight. I don't know, because I've never been to Saudi. But it's a hell of a long flight, especially with something like that on your mind. It's crazy.
To me, because you had said that people kept coming up to you and saying, like, we're going to do this the right way, right? Like, we're not going to make yourself into the good guy here and get the crowd. You're the bad guy, right?
What we're going to do after this, honestly, I have no idea. We're already an hour in. I didn't expect this to be this long. But here we are. I don't know. We'll see how much longer it goes for. I don't know how much longer the Karrion segment of this goes. So we'll see.
Right? And you said, I was just thinking about my uncle on that day. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was trying to do exactly what you guys wanted.
Yeah.
Why did you think that they were so nervous? And because you sort of implied that they kept coming up to you. People kept coming up to you saying, like, this is going to go according to the plan, right?
Yeah.
Had that ever happened before where you went off script, so to speak?
No.
So why do you think there was this fear?
I don't know. Everyone knows the crowd has been coming with the character for a while now, right?
But that happens, right?
Am
I going to play more Battlefield 6 tomorrow? Do I even have it installed? I honestly don't think I've kept it installed. Yeah, I don't, so that's probably going to be a no. Don't even have it installed, so, you know.
Happened a million times over time, over the history of pro wrestling. There's a million different instances. it's not as if I was going to run like a Hogan comeback on him, like, you know, forcibly.
Yeah.
We're changing the finish, brother.
Yeah.
I would have never done that. At no point did I ever think that the crowd was going to boo Sammy. That's insane. I think they were concerned that they were going to boo the finish. But I never saw that.
Think about that anyway. Like, how could they say to you, like, hey, you got to make sure they boo the finish. They boo the finish. That's not necessarily on you, right?
That's
more.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. This was never ever going to be a reality in my mind that would happen. It was never going to be a reality. I was like, there's no way that's going to happen. This is not a real concern. Him and I are going to go out there. We're going to kill it. I had a blast working with him. It's one of the best ever, my opinion.
I'd back it, to be honest.
So it was just, that was odd. And not their fault. Like, I didn't tell very many people. Only a couple people knew in the company ahead of time that my Uncle Chris had passed. So I didn't bring that to work with me. I kept it to myself. But just while that's on my mind, and the directive for the day, and then these strange concerns about this thing that I knew was not going to happen, I was like, what's going on?
Again, even that is weird. I mean, he spoke about it in his documentary about like how people on Night of Champions kept coming up to him being like, oh, this is going to go well, right? And like basically seemingly questioning Karrion's ability and as a professional, which I think is, again, just so weird. Everything about this situation is weird. I don't get it. I don't understand the logic from WWE's perspective. None of it makes sense to me, to be honest. And I think that's why there's so much talk about, oh, is this a work? Is it real? Like, you know, it's because stuff like this where Karrion's saying this, and obviously we're never going to get WWE side, I don't think. But it's just so weird that you let someone that, again, has grown so organically and has gotten that fan support, and again, now you're not even offering him a good enough contract, and even then you offer him a contract but then can't like show your workings, you know, for like a better terms, like, you know, how you got to that valuation of offering him that contract. You know, you couldn't even give him, which is what I would say quite basic information in that aspect. But it's just it's all weird, man. It's all so weird. You should use Medic Class. Defib is the best. To be honest, I just didn't like the vibe of the Battlefield 6 beta, so I don't think I'm going to be playing it again, if I'm honest.
What's happening here? So,
how did you feel about the SummerSlam match?
Very grateful to be there. Very happy to be working with Sammy. If I could have done it differently, I would have wanted to have blown it off bigger. So, story format-wise, the heel is terrorizing the babyface for an extended period of time. Babyface has to get his comeuppance, right? At some point. I know a lot of people wanted to see Kross win the match. If we're following basic psychology here, babyface wins, okay? No problem. I would have liked to have gotten nuked in that match, though. Something real big. Something really like, I don't know, just something crazier. Something like a spectacle moment. We had a moment on the end of it when he's got the pipe. It was that Luke Skywalker moment. Is he going to go to the dark side, you know? I would have liked to have gone bigger. Maybe I would have had him, I don't know, maybe we chase up somewhere really high and maybe I slip. So we protect his integrity as a good guy. I slip and fall off something really high. I don't know. I would have liked
that'd have been crazy, by the way.
So maybe a scaffold with lava and alligators with top hats.
You were open to killing Karrion Kross.
Sure, why not?
If that was going to be the end.
Sure. These people paid good money for those tickets at SummerSlam. Why not give them something?
Massive respect to Karrion, because I don't think there's many wrestlers in there. Like, I know Ricochet did a similar kind of thing. I don't know if that was WWE telling him to do it, or if he came up with like, oh, well, let's kill off this version of me, I suppose. You know what I mean? Before he went to AEW, obviously, I think, wasn't it Bron Breakker that, like, did a running power slam off of a car through a windshield or something like that to him, and we've just never seen him again? You know, the fact that Karrion was willing to do that, and that's even in his mind, whether it's after the fact or not, like, the fact that that's even in his mind should tell you that Karrion is the utmost professional. Like, he knew that this could be his last match in WWE, you know, period. So the fact that he was even considering being like, okay, let's kill off the character, you know, is crazy. And fair play to him, man. Continue with Mafia. We could do. We'll see.
Really, like, oh my God, do you remember that?
Right.
You know? It was a crazy card. Lots of stipulations, lots of different match types, belts. I would have liked to have done the match in a bigger fashion if I was allowed to. But at the end of the day, you have your directives. You go out there. You have your marching orders. Everybody does. So
When that was over and you were leaving the ring and walking to the back, was there any thought in the back of your mind, this could be the last time I compete in this ring, at least for now?
I had a gut feeling.
Really?
I couldn't tell you why, but I had a gut feeling. My gut's never wrong. So
You felt in that moment this is the last time?
yeah, I felt it all day.
Why?
That's interesting.
Subtle things that I couldn't even tell you. Subtle things happening that I could not even convey in words. Body language, energy, stuff like that. I felt
I
it.
suppose to be fair again.
I even had a friend
I
of
mean,
mine
the
tell
big
me,
thing
you
is
know,
how weird this whole situation's been. If you're carrying in that moment and you've seen all these little things of like producers and stuff coming up to you being like, oh, this is going to go well, right? And like, it's not going to go off the rails or whatever, you know? And just these little things of not already having a contract renewal done and, you know, not even had any substantial talks up to that point. You probably would be sat there being like, okay, this is probably not looking great. I think just all the little things about how, as well, if you've watched the documentary about how he's had people tell him that he shouldn't be leaning into the We Want Kross stuff, and like he's meant to be a heel, but he's doing good guy things, and it's like just so odd. Am I still going to stream the Clash in Paris PLE? I mean, I don't know that I ever committed to it, but I mean, it's a possibility because they're in France, innit? I don't actually know what time it is though. That's the only thing. I know they're in France, but I don't know what time they start. I'd imagine it's like 6, 7, something like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
maybe do something for the live
I
crowd.
don't actually know
when you're
what
leaving
day
and
Clash
say
of Paris
goodbye or
is
something. I was like,
even is.
I don't want to be an unprofessional.
Mm.
This moment, clearly by design, is for the babyface to get everything back that we took away from him. I don't need to make this about myself right now. It's about him. I've been taking from him for weeks. So let's do the right thing. Let's be accountable. Let's not go into business for ourselves.
Right.
Let's not upset the audience by doing some sort of, you know, whatever in the middle of the show. Just go out there and do the job that they're asking you to do, as I have always done.
Sure. And when you get to the back, what happens after the match? Does someone say something to you? Do you get a chat, a hug, a thank you? Like, what is that vibe like when you walk back to Gorilla and back to the locker room?
Thank yous, making sure everybody was okay, and handshakes, and that was pretty much it. I thought it was cool. This is the only time I've ever known for this to happen. But Taker was in Gorilla, and Sammy and I went to Taker after the match to get his thoughts on it, and it was all good.
Wow.
So that was cool. Like the Undertaker watched
That's incredible.
one of our matches, which is cool. I grew up watching him ever since I was a little kid. So
He's actually giving you pointers?
he just talked about what he liked about the match, and
Amazing.
we asked him if there was anything that jumped out or stood out that we would do anything differently with, and he said he really enjoyed it. So
Incredible.
yeah, that was cool for me.
When you leave the arena that night, were you at night too?
Yes, I came in for media.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you leave on Sunday, what are you feeling?
Well, I was told we were going to Raw. There was a creative idea in the air.
Okay.
Sunday we get a message saying we're going, you know, we're going to be flown home. So now we're not going to be at Raw.
Wow.
That didn't feel very good.
Again,
No.
so
Was there a reason?
weird.
No.
So he
Yeah,
leaves
the two of
SummerSlam
you.
weekend on the Sunday, expecting to show up to work again on Monday, and then out of nowhere gets a text being like, okay, you're not needed, basically, go home. So odd. Like, I don't know. Maybe, to be honest, actually, and this is probably kind of peak, but now, hearing this and just genuinely just not being able to piece it together from a WWE perspective, you know now, if you've seen me on TikTok talking about wrestling and whatever, right? You'll know that I like to play devil's advocate. I play both sides, you know? I have my opinion, but then I'll still try and see it from the other perspective. I can't do that from WWE's perspective. I really can't. Because I just don't get how you let Karrion go. Like, again, he's so over. The fans love him. There's the whole We Want Kross thing. You know, he's a good soldier. He's doing everything he's being told to do. Even in this interview, that is apparent. And yet it just seems WWE have just got no interest, which is fine. But like at that point, just say you've got no interest in keeping him around. You know what I mean? Instead, it felt like they gave him false hope by using him and then not giving him a contract. It's like, oh, you're going to do all this for us, which I know he's under contract, so, you know, I'm not saying WWE are wrong for doing this, but, you know, to use him to maybe give him a little bit of hope of being like, oh, do this and maybe there's a contract at the end of it, like, you know, to then not even give him one and just kind of just let him go is crazy to me. Where am I? 7:30 in France, 6:30 here because they're on ahead. I mean, yeah, we'll probably do it. It depends. I don't think I'll be doing anything because, you know, my life's pretty boring. But yeah, we should do. It's what, 31st? We can see because I think SmackDown will be on. To be fair, we've got a few European shows coming up, haven't we? So
You and your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch Raw that night?
Of course.
When you hear people chanting your name, when you see the signs, what does that feel like?
Really good. Never in my life, man, have I ever felt more supported. Like ever.
That's good.
It's so much support I don't even know what to do with it, but it is motivating. I've been one of those people most of my life. I've had a weird disassociation thing with people that I've had to overcome. I talk about it a lot in the book. I feel like putting this book out and getting feedback from people, like they're not talking to the character, they're talking to me for once, you know? I'm getting over those things, and to feel so much support from my peers, from strangers, from fans, it's really wonderful. Like, even as undesirable as this situation is, I still have hope that we can recover it, work it out, and the support that I get from people on a daily basis everywhere is unbelievable.
Does it ever feel like, hey, why me? Like, do I deserve this? Do you ever,
No.
You don't have that imposter syndrome?
No.
Okay, that's good.
I think about it like every single time you're tested in life, it's an opportunity to self-discover something. Everybody can tell themselves a story about what they're like and what they do and how they are. It doesn't become real until you go through it. It doesn't, like, you tell yourself, I don't know, fighting, you cover a lot of MMA. Every single person on the planet will, you know, think that they will excel at cage fighting until they actually do it, right? People who watch it, who like it. Oh, I could knock that guy out. I could fight this guy.
See ya, Punk.
Until you go in there and do it, you don't know, right? And I
Who
just
said
look at
that?
a lot of challenges like that in life. You know, this situation is forging me into the next person I'm going to become. And I feel really good about it. There's no fear. I'm going to embrace it and take whatever's coming on the chin and see who I am at the end of it.
How is your wife
That's
handling
good.
it?
Really good.
I mean,
Okay.
I can't
Same
imagine he's
type
going to
of
struggle for
attitude?
work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Even more
dude.
so. What does that mean?
We're all about preserving integrity. We're not kids anymore. When you're a teenager and you're in your early 20s, anybody, you know, life is about making choices and finding out sometimes if it was the right one or the wrong one. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Our conscience is clear. We don't live with any sort of self-resentment. The only way you can let self-resentment in is to make choices and decisions that you're going to regret. And I'm not going to do that. I want to proceed forward with integrity in all things. And she supports that.
So there hasn't been a moment in all this time where you've thought, like, man, maybe I should have done this differently, and maybe I should have said that or talked to this person. Do you find yourself sort of going over these moments, relitigating everything, or you're not that type of guy?
No. I mean, it's always case by case in life. But where we are right now, let's do things honestly. Let's observe things together. Let's make decisions together. It doesn't have to be the way it is right now.
Did you see Paul Heyman on the show last week, or at least what he said?
I did.
What did you think when he was talking about you?
Paul Heyman compared it to
answer.
Stone Cold, didn't he? In terms of fan reaction and whatnot.
I've had a relationship with Paul Heyman for a very long time that I've never talked about publicly. I consider him a veteran. I consider him a great source for advice and information. I do consider him a friend. And I've never name dropped him once. I've never, ever wanted him. Look, I know who he is to this business. I've never, ever wanted him to feel like if I go talk to this guy, he's going to go on media and start telling me about, telling everybody how I'm over to use that as like a chip to cash of people. I've literally never reiterated a single conversation I have ever had with Paul in my life on media ever. It's different when somebody compliments you privately. It's a whole nother level when they do that publicly. And that'll be one of those things I'll never forget for the rest of my life too, man. I'm really honored that he said that. And I don't want to say it. I just said I wouldn't. We've had conversations about what he said before. I'll leave it at that.
Maybe previously?
Yes.
Okay.
We've had conversations about that before. There was one thing that he told me a long time ago, and I don't think he'd mind that I'm saying this. A long time ago, in this last term that I had, there was a time where I was off TV for over 3 months. I'd have to ask my wife. She has a much better memory than I do, maybe 4 or 5 months. I was backstage at TV every week, hoping.
That's crazy.
This is going to be
even
good when I get
that
back
is
on TV.
just.
He calls me over. We sit down in Gorilla, just check in. We get to this conversation. He goes, I want to ask you a question. I go, what? And he says, say they pull you off TV for another 2 months, 3 months. Do you think if you were given the opportunity to go out there and perform at your best, you could get over with that audience, you could entertain them? I said, of course. And he goes, good. I do too. Never forget that. How about 5 months? Could you do it? Of course I could. Good. How about 6 months?
And you know what's crazy?
A year?
He did it.
Could you go out there? If you had no handcuffs, no restrictions, could you go engage that audience? Could you get over? Could you do what you're supposed to do with this job? I said, yes. And he said, good. Don't ever let the time you're spending off TV rattle you because you know what you're doing. I can verbatim repeat that because that was a conversation that has lived in my head to now. It solidified my confidence in what I was doing like I had never, ever had it before. Once you know what you're doing, and you're certain you know what you're doing, and you've demonstrated that you know what you're doing.
Makes this situation all the more baffling because he's had that talk with Paul Heyman and he's had that confidence instilled in him and he already had it. He just needed it to be like reaffirmed, right? The crazy thing is Paul Heyman gave him the notion of like, okay, if they ask you to go out and do it. Karrion got over without even wrestling matches. Do you know how crazy that is? He got over when he wasn't even being used in matches. He was being used in backstage segments and he was doing social media posts. He got over in every way without ever having to be in front of a live audience. Do you know how crazy that is and how that just doesn't happen that often? It's wild. And again, WWE have let him walk out the door. I don't get it.
There's your relationship that you can have with your people. You just can't doubt it. You can't let things get between those ideas. And fast forward, maybe that was a year and a half ago. Fast forward to now, here we are. He was right, man. He's a guy who's seen a lot. He's a guy, when he was a young man, he had an idea about professional wrestling that all the old timers were like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. What's this kid know? He goes off, Eastern Championship Wrestling, becomes ECW. Turns out he was right. Changes the entire commercial landscape of professional wrestling. They copied everything he did. We all know it. To get a compliment from him, to be able to know him, be able to talk to him as a human being, wouldn't trade it for anything.
It's amazing because when you were reciting that, I can hear him saying that. The 4 months, the 5 months. I can see this conversation.
It's such a Paul Heyman thing to say.
I noticed that you gave him a shout out at the very end of the book, and I never really heard you talk about him or he talk about you. So I was like, and I know there are people that have come up to him. We spoke about that in the interview last week with him as well. So I thought, this makes a lot of sense. Silly me, shame on me. I thought for sure you would get re-signed. I thought you probably were re-signed already. I never even asked him that question because it wasn't even like a part of my thought process. The way he was labeling it and kind of laying it all out was like, oh yeah, they're going to demand. And then just like Stone Cold and I said CM Punk, you're going to come up and the crowd is going to go crazy. You're going to get your moment. And so that's when he said that, I think everyone thought, oh, okay, look, like Paul's laying it all out and it's about to happen. And so that's why it's still so hard for me to believe that we're here talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
When you heard him say that, did it give you hope that this would get fixed between then and now?
No, because he, to my knowledge at least, because I hadn't really talked to him about anything, he didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I didn't
Paul's
think
not
we were
even
gonna
on
get
the
here. I didn't think it was going to get
like
to here.
recruitment aspect
so
of WWE.
I kind of just,
I don't think.
figured this conversation that's taking place right now today, I didn't think was ever going to take place.
Right.
We're just going to work through this, and this will be like it never even happened. So he did not know about any of that, as far as I know.
I'm assuming you probably heard from a lot of people within the company, friends, peers, colleagues, right?
Yeah.
Anyone reach out with advice that really meant something to you that really stood out? I'm sure friends checking in, like these are your buds, right? You see them more than your own family. Obviously, you're lucky that you're with your wife, but any vet, any OG, any pal?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot of them. I don't like name dropping people.
I get it.
Because then sometimes they may feel a particular way about it, but a lot of people. And
anything in particular that they said, you don't have to tell us the source, but some advice about how to navigate through this. Because I can understand this is probably not fun for you and not very easy, right? I feel for you right now. This is your life. To us, it's like, oh, it's a great interview. Let's see how it all goes. It's a fun story. This is amazing. Let's see if he pops up. This is your freaking life, man. You built this explains it. This explains everything from the fighting to your relationship with your father. Like this, look at the title. I mean, could you have not planned this? I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm just wondering if there was advice on how to navigate all of this, because I can't imagine what's going through your mind.
I was told to do the right thing and, don't make any decisions that you're going to regret. Think everything through. Be logical. Stand your ground. And that was essentially, to paraphrase across the board, that was the advice that I was given.
Okay. So. Since Sunday, have other promotions reached out to you?
Yeah, of course.
Big ones?
That's nice to hear.
Yes.
Can I ask specifically?
I mean, I expected that to
ask,
happen.
but I won't tell you, brother.
Has AEW reached out?
No.
No?
No.
Are you surprised?
No.
AEW,
Why?
A lot of people think it's a work.
They were the ones I was thinking of when you said, hey, people don't know whether or not to reach out. Because the theory that I've heard is if Kross shows up on TNA, this is all a work because they're in cahoots, right?
Right.
If he shows up on AEW, obviously this isn't a work.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, that's what everyone is thinking. I've read it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Everyone's thinking I'm just going to pop up under some other company that's in the WWE umbrella. They're hoping I do because this seems so nonsensical to people. People are following the course of events that have happened to get to here, and they're going, how did this happen? This must not be real because this makes no sense. And believe me, I also think that this makes no sense either.
Yeah.
This is baffling to me, too. And
it really
drives
is.
me nuts that
Nothing about it makes sense from a
that I
WWE
actually even
perspective.
have to
It really
admit that.
doesn't.
It is baffling.
It is.
So
it would be an all-time story if you go up and show up on the indies and then come back. That's what people are concocting this.
Mm-hmm.
But you have said repeatedly this is not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you open to even talking to others at the moment, or are you still holding out hope that things will get sorted with WWE?
I've talked to many people across the boards about doing a lot of different things. I have things that we're lining up. My wife, both and I, we both have things that we're lining up. We just haven't announced dates, but nothing so far that we have taken on would necessarily interfere with coming back home to WWE. It's like I said it before. Like I'm not trying to turn this into a game. I know that could be advantageous for a lot of people.
I don't really get that, to be honest. So he's had contact with other promotions and stuff of doing something, right? Whether it's one match or whatever. But he's saying that it wouldn't. Does that just mean that he's not talking like exclusive contracts? Because people are going to take that and run and think, oh, well, it could still be a work, you know? If he's not tied down anywhere, he could still come back, you know? I don't know. The way you worded that is a bit weird to me, but I don't know if I've just misunderstood that. But
I don't like to proceed like that. I don't like it. I will resent myself for proceeding that way, even if it's monetarily beneficial to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm still waiting, man. I'm waiting at the table to finish discussing, things that we never got a chance to discuss. I think that there's still a lot to talk about.
Sure.
So.
And when you say that, you mean like from a character perspective, right? There's so much more work.
No, I mean like from attempting to recover the issue with WWE.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm not fishing for any major television wrestling companies to call me. I have been contacted by several, but I'm not looking for that. That's not actually what I'm looking for. I would like to explore the conversation more with WWE.
Do you think if you called them today and said, you know what, on second thought, I'll take that offer, do you think it's on the table or is it really gone?
Well, the offers are rescinded.
You think so?
Well, that's what they said.
That's what they said.
That's what they
you
said.
Believe that? I mean, because that's business too, right? That's negotiation.
Well, I mean, I want to believe what they are telling me. That's how communication has to work,
Sure.
unless they say something that is untrue. But in life, no one is going to make a decision without information that's going to impact their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have information. You can't make a decision like that without being informed. All I ever asked for was to integrate information that we could assess together into the conversation.
Still so weird that they just didn't give him
I'd
that
still
information
like
as well.
See that information. I never even saw it. I never saw it. I'd like to see it. Where's the basis for everything that we were talking about? Where is it? You know?
Do you speak to your peers about, like, do you know what market value is?
Of course.
Okay, so you know what Karrion Kross right now should probably be making.
Certainly.
And was it far off from that? Was it a slap in the face?
I'd prefer not to say.
Okay.
And the reason being is because let's look at the information together.
Okay.
That's the fair thing to say. Let's look at it all together and let's see what's appropriate. You know what I mean? Imagine.
God, even now he's being
trying
a
to
professional, isn't he?
buy
A
a
lot of
car,
people after their
somebody's trying
contract
to sell you a car,
expires
you
just
need a car,
start
but
going
you
off
have
on the
absolutely
company.
no information about the vehicle whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like,
And then he's Karrion just like,
what year is
nah,
it?
I
You know,
don't want to be
what
like all
make,
those
what
other
engine,
people.
what
You know?
model?
I want to be in WWE.
I'm curious if you thought of this. I'll just insert myself in it for a moment. When I was about to leave ESPN, they made me an offer, and it was for the exact same amount of money that I was making. I was very disappointed by that. I thought I deserved more. And there were some people who were telling me they don't want you to accept this. They're only offering this to you so that they can say they offered it to you, but they are hoping you say no because it's for the exact same amount. I was like, no. Times are tough, pandemic. They want me to stick around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm foolish. Do you think they were hoping that you either didn't take that offer or didn't accept it or didn't answer in 24 hours so that they could say, hey, we offered him something, he just didn't accept it?
I really don't know what was the intention with all of this. I really don't know. I don't
think WWE had an intention. I think even they don't know what's happening.
Put that on them. Like, again, it's not. I'm not trying to make anybody feel targeted by this. I just think that the wrong people were in the conversation.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Certainly things like what you said go through your mind, though. I can't deny that. You know, you wonder what is going on here. It's not following a logical course of discussion. I really tried to get it on track with that. So
I read in your fantastic autobiography, which is out right now, by the way.
I really did not
#1
expect this interview to
on
go this long,
Amazon as far as sports biographies are concerned. You
For
can't
an
recommend
hour and a half
enough.
in.
A fantastic
Jesus
summer
Christ.
read. I read in this book that at one point,
Karrion
when
is
you left
in
WWE
the top
for the
5 most
first time,
genuine
I did not
wrestlers
know
ever.
this.
To be honest, I think he
you
is.
had bandied about
I think
the idea
he
of going
comes
to
across
BKFC.
really well.
You had spoken to David Feldman.
It's one of the reasons that
as
I
fate
would
would
now
have it, is
consider
actually on the
myself a
show
Karrion
today
Kross
I
to
saw
break
it, to be
some
honest.
news.
I saw it.
Weirdly enough,
Yes.
I had no idea. How close was that to becoming a thing?
really, really, really close.
This is when you left the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He reached out, or you reached out?
I was
Are we
in the
now just
audience.
going
I
to be
would see
talking
him all
about
the
the book?
time.
'Cause if that's the case,
You'd
no
go to
offense
shows
to
where,
Karrion,
in
but
Florida?
I can kind of move
Okay.
on
I was
now.
at the shows
You know?
almost every single time he was there for a very long time. We got to know each other. Turns out he knows my father as well.
Ah, yes.
Um,
We spoke about the first time you were on, yes.
yeah. So he kept asking me.
Well, I think I will leave it there. I don't think I'm going to miss anything on that. All right, so that was obviously Karrion on Ariel Helwani. I'm just going to give a couple of my thoughts. I think I've probably said most of it going along, but just this whole situation is weird. It's baffling. It makes no sense, which is why I understand people being like, oh, well, it has to be a work because it makes no sense. Like, that's the only way people can kind of, like, justify it and make it logical, you know? I don't think it's a work, and stuff that Karrion said has maybe made me question if it is or not, but I'm still of the belief this isn't a work and that this is happening because, you know, WWE don't always have the greatest of logic when it comes to this stuff, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I mean, Karrion's been released before, and that was coming off the back of him being NXT champion and all of that stuff, you know? I mean, we've had so many people that leave the company, and people are like, how have they left the company? You know what I mean? And how did we allowed them to leave the company? We've had that so many times, but this one just feels weird in the sense of, again, the stuff Karrion's saying, and we'll probably only ever hear Karrion's side of it, but just everything Karrion's saying and the interactions he's having with people behind the scenes just feels weird about how he's saying he shouldn't be leaning into the We Want Kross things because he's a heel, and that they don't really want a heel being cheered, even though, you know, you had John Cena as a heel and you knew he was never getting booed completely. So, you know, I don't know, just none of it makes sense is the biggest takeaway from this. Alongside that is the fact that Karrion just seems like such a genuine guy. Like, and this is why a lot of people are drawn to him as well. It's not just the character of Karrion Kross, it's Kevin, you know, behind the scenes, the human being of that character, you know what I mean? That is what has gripped people and got people interested. But yeah, I'm still of the belief that this is legit. I do believe that he's actually gone. Could it turn into him coming back? Fingers crossed, but as of right now, it's not looking likely. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Whatever Karrion does, I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. You know, I might even, depending on what promotions he shows up in, might start watching some different wrestling shows. That's how big of an impact Karrion's had on me currently. So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, hit like, hit subscribe. Peace.